Title: Seeing My Reflection on the Screen with Open Eyes. Author's statement of clarity and discernment. I write this with honesty, respect, and balance, understanding that lived experience and media portrayal are not the same thing, even when they overlap. This work exists to acknowledge truth without allowing it to become a cage, and representation without allowing it to define worth. I speak as an African American man reflecting on what I have seen, what I have lived, and what I have learned to discern over time. This is not written in anger, nor denial, but in clarity. As written in John chapter 8 verse 32, "And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." This series is written to tell the truth fully, not partially. Introduction to the series. This series reflects my relationship with movies that depict my culture, my ethnicity, and environments that resemble parts of my upbringing. Neighborhood violence, crime, struggle, survival, these are not foreign concepts to me. I know they existed because I lived around much of it. At the same time, I have grown to recognize how frequently these narratives dominate the screen when African American stories are told. This introduction exists to hold two realities at once: that some of what is shown is rooted in truth, and much of it is imagined, exaggerated, or selectively repeated until it feels like the only story being told. The story. When I watch movies depicting neighborhood violence and crime within African American communities, there is a familiarity that cannot be denied. I recognize streets, attitudes, pressures, and choices that mirror real experiences. I do not reject those stories outright because they are not lies. They reflect real pain, real environments, and real consequences that many of us have witnessed or survived. What troubles me is not that these stories exist, but that they are so often the primary lens through which my brothers and sisters are portrayed. Violence becomes identity. Crime becomes expectation. Struggle becomes destiny. Over time, repetition teaches viewers what to expect from us before we ever speak. I have also learned discernment here. Not every film is a documentary. Many are imagined narratives, crafted for tension, drama, and profit. They are often very well done, acted with excellence, written with depth, and performed with authenticity. Skill should be acknowledged where it exists. Artistry is not erased just because the subject matter is heavy. I also understand something else now that I did not always consider. For many actors, this is work. In this economy, providing for one's family and oneself is honorable. Scripture affirms this plainly, as written in 1 Timothy chapter 5 verse 8, "But if any provide not for his own, and specially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith, and is worse than an infidel." Accepting a role does not mean endorsing every implication attached to it. Sometimes it means responsibility, survival, and stewardship. Still, discernment asks deeper questions. Why are these roles so available to us, while others are scarce? Why are stories of joy, intellect, tenderness, faith, and quiet success less frequently centered? Why is violence so often treated as our most marketable trait? These questions are not accusations, they are reflections born from awareness. I know now that representation does not define value. God does. As written in Genesis chapter 1 verse 27, so God created man in his own image, in the image of God created he him. That truth existed long before cameras and screens. No portrayal can add to it or take from it. This series exists to say that I can acknowledge truth without accepting limitation. I can honor those who work to provide, while still longing for broader stories. I can recognize pain without letting it become my whole narrative. I live in discernment now, seeing clearly what is real, what is imagined, and what is repeated for effect. This is not rejection of my culture, it is love for it. Love that wants depth, balance, and fullness. Love that knows we are more than survival stories, more than violence, more than the narrow frames we are often placed within. I continue forward holding truth and grace together, one continuous reflection, grounded in lived experience and guided by understanding.